Guys, good evening, good afternoon. It is an awesome day, another good one. So I'm just going, this one, usually I dive into particular stocks that we plan on trading the next trading day or sometime this trading week. But I'm just going to go through my entire process with you guys really quickly, just so you can see it play out. First off, I want to start with our trade that we took today, which we talked about in yesterday's video, and also had in the email that was sent out to everyone. We had our targets in there. Love the market. It's so green today. There was definitely a good day in the market today. Definitely rebounded since yesterday, and even ended. The Nasdaq and the S&P ended with a power candle, bullish power candle, showing signs that it would like to continue this momentum into tomorrow. The Dow kind of did, but we'll see how that goes tomorrow. So we'll dive into the market's performance in a bit. You can see there was a lot of stocks advancing today, a lot of new highs, a lot of stocks crossing above their moving averages, above the 50, above the 200, 64% bullish day in the market. Woo! I am a bull. I am a bull for the long side. So, you know, clearly all of this is great for me. I love this. This means that when we look at our screeners today, we should have a lot of stocks near new highs, right? We've got a bunch that broke out to new highs, above new highs. So we should have a lot that are on our scanners and screeners today for potential trades and continuation through momentum tomorrow. So I'm very excited about that. So we'll dive into that in a moment. Let's look at our trade for today. It was RVP. I don't have a ton to say about this other than it went very well. It tried to scare us at first. It was very choppy in the beginning of the morning. It opened up and then just dropped very quickly. I had a stop on it near 1280, I think. Um, and it never really got to that stop. I think it got very close to about 1286 or something like that. It never touched 1280. Got very close. Dropped all the way down. Opened up at 1353. Dropped down. For a moment, I thought the shorts were going to take over and win the day, and then it just bounced back higher like it's been doing for the past couple days. It did the same thing yesterday. The bulls came in and wiped the shorts out. And so we were in this thing at 1310, 1318, somewhere in that range. I think I got in at 1318, and we took this thing all the way up. We took it to about $14 because that was the previous resistance mark, as you can see here. And we sold. We sold, but this thing had a lot more to go. I wasn't 100% sure, so I just took my profit and left. And I'm very happy about that, extremely happy about that. And more bulls came in as it broke above its 52-week high, its all-time high, actually, not even just 52 weeks, all-time high on this thing. And more bulls came in and smoked the shorts, completely obliterated them. So it was awesome to watch. Sometimes I like watching the level two and the level one just to see the shorts stack on, stack on, stack on, and then to watch some bull come in and just obliterate them. So if you're a short watching this, I apologize, but today was wonderful. It was great. So this thing ran all the way up to 1580, 1580. So clearly bullish. And what we expect to happen is either a continuation tomorrow, momentum breakout, for it to just pick up right where it left off, right from 1503 or wherever it is right now, 1502, and continue running into tomorrow. Or we expect a pullback to somewhere near the $14 area, and then for some bulls to come in and run the price higher and for it to continue that trend. So one of those things is possible. Obviously, there's a third option, which is the shorts come in and the sellers take over and the thing falls below 14. But we've got a very good outlook on this stock. So I don't think that's what's going to happen. So great day for this particular trade. Awesome. And we'll look for some more setups just like this one that we had that we provided to you guys that are going to provide some decent gains. So I'm very excited about that. All right, let's dive into the market now and take a look at what's been going on. So, as we already mentioned, you guys see the stats here, most of the stocks in the market advanced today. Very small percentage of them declined. A lot of them reached new highs. Very small, super small percentage of them hit new lows. Those companies, I wonder what companies those were. But anyways, a lot of them got above the moving averages, all of their moving averages, and so that's pretty exciting news for the market. Clearly bullish. The Dow, let me get my tool here, my write-in tool, so you guys can see what's going on here. So the Dow had a nice green candle. Um, it's not super bullish, but it still looked good. Whoops, where are we going here? There we go. I don't know where that was going. All right, still looked good. And remember, we've got these all-time highs before coronavirus right here, back in about February. And we draw that line right across. This is our support area right here now, right? And you can see here it was where, the Dow was trending at all-time highs, and then COVID hit the US pretty hard. It hit the entire world pretty hard. And that caused this major, major sell-off. And then there was a very nice rebound. A lot of traders, a lot of investors took advantage of the volatility in the market during this time period. And then it broke above the previous all-time high, gapped back, fell below it because clearly that's a challenging area for the stock. Then got above it, used it as support, and now it's still kind of using it as support. It has not truly broken above that level yet. It is above the level, but it has not distanced itself from that level. So we'll see what happens. I mean, it would take some bad news. We've got a vaccine right now in the U.S. going out. Possibly we'll get some stimulus rolled out if the Democrats and the Republicans can get together and just put their differences aside and sign something that's good for the American public. Then the market would continue to run higher. That would obviously create some spending in the economy, and that would be a big deal. So, we need a couple more catalysts to push the market higher. If there is no action going forward, then that would be one of the reasons why the market might take another dip. The vaccine is good, but it might take a couple months to see the results of that. It might take some time to see the results of that throughout the US, right? And then obviously there's a lot of people who are still hesitant regarding that vaccine. So that's going to take a little bit of time. The market's not going to drastically respond to that at the moment, but it is responding to it. This is clearly a sign that there is optimism in the market regarding the economy and regarding the markets. Okay, so that's the same story for the S&P, so we don't need to, go too deep into how the S&P performed as well. It's a pretty similar story across the board. The S&P typically looks similar to the Dow, except the S&P separated itself quite well from its highs back in February right here. It's well above that number now. And so that's a nice, beautiful chart. Same thing got crushed by, COVID, the pandemic, and then a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful rebound. Same thing for the NASDAQ, except the NASDAQ was much stronger. A lot of the big companies within the NASDAQ actually did better, much better during COVID. And so, the NASDAQ really took off, and then the Russell 2000 is also taken off as well. So the market overall is still bullish. That is the sign here. That is what's happening here. The market is bullish, everyone. All right, let's go through my screeners. Let's go through what I like to see here. Oh, actually, we'll start with the sectors. So I like to quickly just go through this and see which sectors are rebounding, which sectors are not doing too well. So the energy sector back in March after the COVID news declined and has yet to fully rebound yet. That is the worst performing sector out of all of them based on the drop after COVID. They have not rebounded yet. Real estate as well, financial as well, the big banks, utilities as well is still working on getting above that previous level before COVID. And then consumer defense is barely above it. Industrials is barely above it. Healthcare did better. They are above that pre-COVID level. And basic materials and communication services, the rest of these guys just kind of took off. And you can already understand why communication services and consumer things took off, and why technology took off and actually did way better after COVID. So There's a lot of sectors that are still struggling and trying to pick themselves back up. And there's a lot of sectors that either adapted to COVID and responded very well, or they were just the right companies for a COVID market. So that's what's happening there. And that actually helps us pick our stocks. And so I know if I find a stock with a beautiful setup and good fundamentals and it's within the technology sector, the strongest sector, I know that can be a good trade. That's an additional uh, bonus right there for that particular stock's case. All right, let's go through our list. So I start with the 52-week high screener on FinViz, and I'm going to put this filter all the way to any stock under $50. I want to see them all because we are trading setups. We're not just trading price, we're trading the value of that stock. All right, and so we go through this really quickly. So what's on the list? Let me move this thing out the way. We've got SLDB. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't really like ascending trends at the top, ascending resistance levels, because that resistance point continues to move. Like I like a nice, stable, easy, straight across um, resistance line, but this one's not it. So I'll disregard that. Vuzu kind of has it. It has one going straight across right here, but it also has, a little bit of a resistance line there. Finally broke out today, so that's wonderful. We missed the move, and so the only way I would play this is if it came back down to $5 and bounced higher. But clearly, good move there. RVP was the one we traded, and you can see a beautiful, easy to read chart, clear level up here, breakout. We were ready for that. We took that trade. It was great. Um, Here, don't really like that one. Again, it's sending the target is moving. I like it to be straight across. I like a couple taps of one level so everyone can be very clear on where that level is. And once it breaks, everyone jumps in. Okay. If you don't know where the target is, or if everyone has a different perspective on where the target is, then the breakout is it's a little more challenging. And same thing here, same thing here, same thing here, same thing here. So I just go through these and I'll just ignore them, not really liking them, but I do like how many breakouts there are on this 52-week list. That's awesome. So not really seeing anything that really catches my attention and looks, you know, mouth watering. So we'll go to the next page here, and not really seeing anything that looks mouth watering. I hate to use that term, but it is the term. Okay, so the best ones out of this is still, the RVP. I mean, I hate to say that, but it is. Like, this is still the best setup. Um, Vuzi kind of looks good too for a continuation, but consumer electronics, that's a good sector. Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, MITK is in the software application USA. Looks like it was, and all of these I can tell when a stock has a higher level of float. Let's just click on it and see. This one, that's actually not that bad. I was wrong. I was wrong. It's in the technology sector. Did 2 times its typical volume. It's overbought on the RSI. ATR is 78, which isn't bad. This doesn't look horrible. How far does the resistance go on a weekly chart? Okay, so this is its all-time high on the weekly chart and its all-time high on the monthly chart. Look at that. This is the level. So if you wanted to take this trade, the best place to get in would have been somewhere around 12.93. So basically the break of $13 was the important level on this chart. And on the weekly chart, it would have been at 14.77. But if you would have played it based on the monthly chart, then you'd be in a bit earlier. And then on the daily, let's see, it was 14. Where did we say on the monthly? On the monthly, we said the spot was right about here, 12.87. So on the daily, excuse me, buddy, we'll buy that another time. 12.87 would have been somewhere here. So it's a little bit tougher from a daily perspective. So this is why it's good to have different time frames. That way you can formulate what is the actual pivot point, because each time frame might tell you a different story. And so what I look for is for 2 or 3 of those different time frames to tell me the same story, to give me a consistent story. It's like having, three siblings, right? Or you're the parent, you have 3 children, and something happened. Someone broke glass in your house, and you go to the kids, you line all 3 of them up, and you say, "Hey, what happened here? Who broke this? What happened?" One kid tells you one story, the other kid tells you a completely different story, and the last kid tells you a completely different story. You have no idea what happened, right? There's no way for you to tell. So we've got the daily telling us that the breakout point is 1485. We got the weekly telling us that the breakout point is 1481. So that's pretty close actually, to the daily. And then we've got the monthly chart telling us that the breakout point is 1293. So the breakout point, I would assume, is 1488. And the daily said 1488 as well right here. Wow, so that's it. That's the one. 1488 basically right there. So if you got two siblings, 2 children that say the same exact thing with the story, hey, Mark knocked it over. Hey, yep, I saw him. He knocked it over. And then the other kid says, they're lying. I don't know. But both kids, then you've got a little more validity there. You've got a little more validity. All right, so I like MITK. We'll take a look at that and dive into it a little bit later. That's the first one on the list. RVP, of course, I like as well. I'll have to dissect that later, so we'll save that for later. Let's see, what else we got? So I go to the other stock screener, see what looks good for some setups. ATEN. So I can already tell ATEN is not going to be a all-time breakout. I can see it on that chart, the little preview of that one. 839, it looks like it's got some, resistance here at this level. And let's go to the candle view and actually bring this little tool up here so you guys can see it as well. So I'll go right here, and I can see that. We see it right there. We see that resistance played a part right here, played a role, kind of traded in this area for a little bit before finally getting back above it, fell below, used it as support, and then broke down. And now it came back and it's trying to retest that level, and trying to break out. This doesn't look bad. This actually does not look bad. And then we go to the float. Let's take a look down here and see what's going on. Technology, wonderful. Remember why we looked at the technology sector earlier to see if it was strong? It is strong. So this is a good sector for a stock to be in. It's not overbought. It's that's pretty close to 1 million shares traded per day, but it did a little bit under today, and I imagine it needs to break out. That's the reason why. Barely any insider ownership. Looks like some high institutional ownership, which is one of the things that we look for to see where the big guys are. Sales quarter over quarter is not great. I usually like to see that number definitely higher than 7.2, but the earnings per share quarter over quarter is much higher, significantly higher. And that's because this stock most likely received the boost from COVID. You can see it right here. The stock typically traded around this range. This is the important level right here. You can easily see it with your eyes. And that's what I like to see. When I look at a chart, I like to see what catches my attention immediately. And that level, clearly you can see it right here. Tap, tap, breakthrough kind of, and then gets pulled back down. Breakthrough kind of, gets pulled back down. Tap, tap, tap. Falls below due to COVID and comes back up, tap, and then finally breaks out, runs above that level, uses that support right here, gets below, tap, tap. You can see the story, right? So this is clearly the pivotal, difficult level for this stock, and it's finally actually above it. I mean, it was above it before, but now it's also above it one more time, and it's trying to see if it can stay above it. So that is the weekly story. Somewhere around that $7.20 range is the resistance point for AT. And so this is what I meant. The stock must have been higher before, or it probably had a reverse split, one of the two stories. Remember, we're looking for what catches our eye immediately. This catches my eye immediately on the monthly chart. Tap, breakthrough, comes back down, trades in the same area, goes above, trades in the same area, breaks below, tap, 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 and now it's right at that level. immediately. So this one doesn't look as clean as some of the others, right? I loved RVP. Why did I like RVP? Because RVP had a very clean breakout. It was all-time highs. This was territory that shorts did not want to touch. Why would they touch this? It's at all-time highs. I mean, they would touch it at the resistance level to try and hold it down before it breaks out. That's what they want. But why would they touch it once it actually breaks out and shows incredible strength? They don't know where. There's no previous resistance level for them to rely on. The stock is in uncharted territory, right? It took the road less traveled. So why would they touch this? And that allows the bulls to just break it through until the bulls get exhausted. And now the only way the stock starts to come back down is if demand gets exhausted. There's no more people who are willing to buy this stock because everyone already took it for a ride, and now they've got to start to sell, and then it creates a new resistance point, right? That's what I like about this stock. That's a clean breakout because of that reason. But ATEN has former history. It's been in these areas before and has not done well. It reached out, broke above this 833 level before, ran all the way up to $10.86, which is great. Then got pulled back down. So traders they know the levels. They know right here could be a potential level at 960. So some guys might get just $1 in profit, or $1.30 profit if it breaks out. Or it could be over here where it broke out before. It could stop at 863 and then get pulled back down if the shorts take over there, or 922 for the wick of this candle, or over here at night. It could be any of these areas. And so the trader who's looking for a big swing, he's not going to take this trade. He's not going to be as excited about this trade, because there's resistance levels in the way. He's waiting for that all-time breakout. And so this one, that's the challenge there from just a chart. Forget the fundamentals. The fundamentals aren't the strongest, but from just a chart's perspective, that's the challenge that this particular stock faces. Okay, so we'll throw that over there. We'll take a look at it later. Let's see if that screener had anything else valuable on it. That was the first one, ATEN. Remember what I said about the ascending resistance line? I don't like it. Makes the target difficult, right? Because you tap right here, and you can see it. It taps right here around $8.15, taps that level, gets pulled back down. Taps it again at $8 and about 25 cents, gets pulled back down. It's like, sheesh, man, it's moving with the line. It's moving with the line. Tries to break out of it again a couple cents higher, it gets pulled back down. If this had just a straight line down here at 8, it could just break out and then run to 840, or just a quick shot to wherever it wanted to go. But because this resistance keeps moving with it, I don't like that. That's not one of my favorite setups for that very reason. So I choose not to take those trades. Other people might be excellent at them. I know my areas of strength. This trade is not one of them. All right, KDMN looks like it might be approaching some all-time high levels. Let's take a look at it and see if that is true. KT, blah, blah, blah. What was that again? KDMN, like Kevin Durant. All right, similar story here. We can already see it. Let's go to the daily, see if I see anything immediately. I see something right here at this $5 mark. It is not at that $5 mark. It does not look like it moves much anyway. Has an average true range of 26 cents. So that's the amount of cents that it typically moves each day. So you can't expect it to just jump 50 cents if it typically moves, only 26 cents per day. That would be 2 times its typical move per day. So you'd expect it to jump 50 cents 2 times its usual move and then continue to break out above 5. There's no way, unless it comes out with extremely strong move. The float is high, which means it takes a lot more people to buy this thing to move it. Institutional ownership is very high. So this can be crowded, and just the setup, the foundation of the stock, of the share system itself, just does not make it easy for strong breakouts. So we just cancel that. We're not even going to look at it. The foundation of the share system structure just does not allow for strong breakouts right now. All right, so these three, nothing on there that I like. Let's go over to the next screener. So this screener is just looking for some valuable penny stocks. That's right. But I'm going to change this to under $50 because I don't really care about the fact that it's a penny stock or not. I'm just looking for good setups. But specifically, what I'm looking for is true range above 25 cents. I want something that can move more than that. Positive earnings per share quarter over quarter, good volume, and positive sales and a U.S. stock. U.S. stocks just tend to do better in the U.S. market than some of the others. Okay, so then I go through this list and I'm actually looking for the same thing. I'm just looking for a really good setup. So this is the screener where I might bend my rules on that hard resistance line just a little bit because all of these companies should have good fundamentals. They should have, good sales. They should have earnings per share. They should be a U.S. company. There's a lot of good things that should be going on with these stocks in particular. So I might bend the rules a little bit, but not much, not much. All right, let's see if we find something. This one's getting ready to break out of the 1557 range, but it's in the semiconductor sector. Not a big fan of that sector. Who is, like, who do you know who's like, hey, I'm really excited to trade this sector. Stocks in this sector are blowing up. So why even think about trading that one? So I'll leave it alone, even if it does break out. There's plenty of trades that I miss because they break out and I'm not sure about them. My job is to protect my risk, not to get super excited about things that can run. That's how you can hurt yourself. This one had a clear level up here, but broke below, so it couldn't break out. So I'm not seeing anything, and I'll just go through these things really quickly. So this is surprising for me because I thought, because the market had such a great day that there'd be some more opportunities that I like for my particular strategy. This might be, beauty for someone else, but this is not. These are not for me. So this one, CDXC, typically this might be a setup that I look at and go, wow, this is good. There's a clear level. But the problem is, I've analyzed this stock for the past couple of days, and you guys know what I don't like. I don't like this, that there's another level. It fools you and makes you think that the level is at 550 when the level is actually up here at 580 because, it's broken out of this level a couple times, faked people out, caught some bulls, and then dropped below. Same thing here, caught some bulls, dropped below. Same thing here, caught some bulls, dropped below. Same thing just a couple trading days ago and dropped below. So, this one I'm not a big fan of. And then let's see the weekly and the monthly. It would be above all-time highs if it got above. So that level is 570. My dog is licking my hand. So I might, oh, the level's actually 6. He might be interested in going for a walk or to use the bathroom. So might have to pause this in a bit. Let's just run through it really quickly and then we can take them out. ATR is low, 30 cents. Can't expect much from that. Shares is medium. The float, the insider transactions look like the management team is selling out. If they're selling out, I don't want to be in it. If you're running a company and you're running from it, I don't want to. There's no reason why I'll take it. Earnings per share past 5 years doesn't look great, and then the earnings, quarter over quarter recently does not make up for that. It gives you about a 15% difference there. It's not great. So yeah, I also don't like that I just don't like the way that stock looks fundamentally. So I'm not even going to look at it anymore. So let's go through a couple more pages, see if we can find one. And that's the thing. I don't know if you guys watch Mike from SMB Capital, but he talks about just one good trade. You don't need, like, it's okay. I can go through this entire list and say, I don't really see anything that looks A plus or A. I can go through that and be okay. Like it's okay. Or I can go through it and say there's not a lot of them, but there is one. That's okay as well. Like we just need one good setup, one amazing good trade, and we'll take that trade every day. We'll take that trade every day. We'll take that opportunity all the time. And RVP presented that opportunity. There will be another RVP. There always is. It's the stock market. Let's go back. I think HZO looks good. It looks like it's getting ready to break out of this level right here. What sector is it in? Specialty retail. I'm not a big retail guy. You guys saw that was, I think, the second worst performing one. It's still trying to rebound its levels. So, I like breakout stocks. I don't really trade support bounces or things like that too much. I like the breakout. The breakouts can be a lot more aggressive than trying to catch things that no one wants because they're selling it. MITK pops up on there again. We've already taken a quick peek at that. Let's see what else we see. What else we see. None of these look that good. None of these look that good. None of these look that good. Just going through it. This is my process right here. Just go through it and see. And you know what? I wouldn't. Oh, look, Rite Aid had a massive. Oh man, Rite Aid. Just look at this. I watched this. I saw this approach that 1798 level, and I said, "There's no way." I mean, there's so many consecutive days in a row of just being green and then above the moving averages, and it's not just like it's just interesting because this stock was not doing excellent before. It was kind of falling from a downtrend and trying to pick itself back up, and then so I was very surprised by this move here. You can see where it ran out of steam. Ran out of steam right at this level back here. Right there at the $20 level, basically tapped it all the way back here. Tried to break above it here. Tapped it here, and now it just tapped it again. So that's the most important level on this stock. It's $20, right? So if you want to take this trade, you take that at the break of $20, and then you be ready in case it fakes you out and pulls back down like it did in this area here. So actually, I think I'll keep this on watch. I think this might be the contender. The strong breakout for Rite Aid. What's the 83%? Institutional ownership is 54. A lot of red I see. Shorts are heavy in this. That can cause a big breakout. The ATR looks really good. The float looks good. The volume looks good. A lot of good things. Not a lot of great things on returns. So return on assets, return on equities, return on not looking great in that area. But maybe COVID this year has allowed them to improve their cash flow. It gave them some more revenue that they couldn't produce before because obviously, healthcare stocks are way more important in 2020 than they've ever been before. Earnings quarter over quarter, sales quarter over quarter 11%. I would have thought that number would have been higher. And then you can see the damage from the past, 5 years. It's been a tough 5 years for these guys, and they're just trying to hold on. So, the fundamentals of this stock, and it's not great. It's not great, but it's not bad. Like it's definitely a COVID stock, right? Like it's definitely a COVID stock, and they'll be rolling out that vaccine in these stores. So that might be something to look at. We'll take a look at that. We'll dive into it a little deeper. I'll leave that up. All right, couple more pages. Biotech looks like it's rebounding. $43 above this level. This one's okay. Not super pumped about it. Let's move on. Break of 15 RVP. Whoa, look at that. That's the one that we liked, right? That's just the type of setup that we're looking for. In an uptrend, clear level to break out of. Never approached that level before. Pulled back, and then finally had a nice rip there. Oh, this was A plus, A plus, A plus. This one, same story, right? Tapped that level, trapped a bunch of people, and then took their money. And I used to be that guy trading the penny stocks that the gurus and the pump and dumpers told me would run that day. I hate those stocks now. I don't even want to look at them. If someone says, "Hey, this one's running, catch the train," I won't even. I'll turn my head and I don't even want to see it. Um, no one likes losing money, and those ones are that's the gambling effect right there. Boozy. Okay. All right. So I don't see much. I don't see much. ZZ, we've analyzed that one before. That one's not great. So I see Rite Aid. CDXC is not one of the choices. KDM, what did we think about this? I think we didn't like it. Yeah, we didn't like that one, so we'll close that. Let's close this too. So Rite Aid, ATEN, and MITK. All right, we will look at these three and see what the options are there, okay? Let me take the dog out. I will be back, and I'll send out another video, part 2 of this video with that analysis. Glad you guys were able to walk through my process with me. We're going to go into a little deeper analysis on this. We'll dive a little bit more into this area. We'll dive into the news to see if there's any weird stuff happening with the stock so you guys can, have more faith in it. And then we'll get some reviews from a couple analyst websites. And then if we like it, if it passes all of our tests, then we go ahead and we, identify the critical levels to get in, our stop loss, and our target. and we set an automatic trade for it. But if we don't like it, it gets wiped off and we don't take any trades on it. So that'll be the next step, is the deep analysis of the stocks now that we have three of them. I think I have a final list as well. VIVO was on that list. Let's look at this. Ooh, VIVO, everyone. This one we had on watch. Whoa, it looks like it is ready. It is ready. Okay, let's look at this really quickly. Jasper, Pup, I promise I'll take you out in 1 second. 1 second. One second. $20 is the level on this one, guys. $20, okay? And clear uptrend right here. You can see it's been respecting that area, and now it is ready to break out with a bullish green candle. You see it. You see it right there. It's ready to break out of that level. This is not an all-time high, clearly. It's not, but it can definitely run to at least, we'll say, $22. And so there's $2 of profit in this gap right here. You can see it. There's $2 of profit in this gap. And I'll take that. I will take that. That is good for me. I will gladly take that room for profit. So yes, I like this. Let's look at one more thing really quickly. The weekly. Yep, $20 is the level. Once it broke before it ran all the way up to, 26, 20, yep, about $26. So that looks good on the weekly for the breakout point. And then right here, let's see, $20 is the level. It gets a little more complicated once we get prior to 2015. It actually traded in this area. So we might have to dissect some important levels from this area too. And that's the challenge. But this is the one that I want, good float, good ATR 1.2, that's beautiful. Some volume I want to see this in the millions, at least 1 million, but it's looking good. Looking like it's increasing and ready to break out soon. Institutional ownership is there. Insiders are not present, but that's all right. We've got earnings per sales. Oh, gosh, this is the one that we'll look at in a bit. Healthcare sector, USA, diagnostics and research. All right. All right. We will be back, guys, to analyze VIVO. Looking forward to this session with you guys. We'll be back. All right. Talk to you soon.